welcome to another episode of the Crispy Noodle Podcast. Let us be the Crispy Noodle in your vegetarian salad of life and boring news. Folks, it's our job to give you the most issues and bits in world sports, entertainment, odd news, and whatever else we happen to stumble across. I'm Rich Liebig.
And I'm Michael Costanzo.
And we're here to give you some tasty morsels of information and discussion in those fields of sports, entertainment, and odd news. And we do have a lot to get to on this week's podcast. But before we jump into it, Mikey, my friend, how are you doing?
I'm good.
You
doing
look
good.
perplexed. Did you not realize that we do a recap portion of the show at the beginning?
Every week for like 500 plus episodes, it's always a surprise.
Keeps catching you off guard.
It really does. Because, you get ready to throw it to me, and I'm like, what did I do this weekend?
Uh-oh.
I can never remember. No, this weekend we did meat pies. For Italian listeners.
Yeah, what's the meat pies?
Right. They might know that the meat pie is sometime around Easter. We do ours before Easter. I know other people do theirs for Easter or after, whatever it is. Sometime around this time of year, we basically make a pie out of a whole bunch of different types of meat. So my family specifically, my aunt makes a loaf of homemade bread, basically, that's been like hollowed out, and just fills it with pork and homemade supersata, eggs, cheese, everything, and bakes that whole thing together.
That mouth did some major damage.
You're doing some major damage.
I've been eating nothing but like pork meat pie for like 3 days straight.
That mouth did some major damage.
Yes,
It's doing major damage to the arteries, but I'm loving every second of it. It's so good. The thing that I love the most, though, is everybody has a different type of meat pie.
Yeah.
Because, like, your family does it different. My family does it different. My dad's relatives do it different. So I get to try, like, different types of meat pie around this time of year, and it's amazing.
Yeah, I think my mom does more of like kind of like a quiche style because it's like a whole bunch of eggs with like prosciutto and other tasty meats.
Yeah.
Throws it in the oven and then does a little bacon cross because, got to represent.
Of course. You have to do something holy or, because it's like around Easter. No, I've had your mom's before. It's very good. It is more quiche-like.
Yeah.
My dad's cousin does kind of like a quiche as well, but his is like, it's a lot of like ricotta cheese and egg mixed together. So it's more like a pillowy, like soft, like texture. Like I don't know how to describe it. It's the textures is different than my aunt's and your mom's.
Yeah.
But I love all the different varieties.
Yep.
You can't go wrong with a good meat pie.
Right. This is the Italian tradition for Easter. Yeah, you got to have the meat pie.
We call it pitachina. That's not what it's actually called. So I don't know. That means nothing to anybody except for my family.
Very good.
I think it's dialect.
Yes. We always just called it the meat pie.
The meat pie, yeah. So that's what we've been up to. We've been making and eating meat pie for the past couple days.
Because Easter's coming up this weekend.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is.
Yep.
But what have you been up to? Other than, well, you haven't been meat pieing yet. But what have you been doing?
Not yet, but we will be this weekend. And also this weekend is the Masters tournament, which we're going to get to in a little bit. That's also kind of weird. I don't remember the last time the Masters fell on Easter weekend. I always kind of thought that was like they tried to prevent
They try to avoid it.
Yeah.
They try to swerve it.
Yeah. It's like, yeah, come on. I like, it's too big. Like, I don't know how I'm going to have to petition my aunt or something. I need a room to watch the Masters.
Well, can't it be like football and Thanksgiving?
Maybe it could.
Like, so here you go. Easter, at least, I assume for you as well, it's a big eating holiday for my family. So it's like you're eating pasta and you're eating, I think we do lamb and a whole bunch of other stuff. So why don't you just eat? You go watch a couple rounds. You come back, eat some more. You go watch a couple rounds. You come back, have dessert. And you watch a couple rounds.
Yeah, I think we could.
You have a nightcap drink, watch a couple rounds. I don't know how long golf goes.
Unfortunately, golf doesn't go as long as the Thanksgiving football.
I knew football was better.
Well, look, the problem's going to be is everyone's going to start to fall asleep because apparently I'm the only one that finds golf exciting.
That's fine. You keep them awake with your cheering.
Yeah, like, oh my God!
He just did a putt. Oh my God! Golf doesn't really invite like hooping and hollering.
Yeah,
right.
It's
more like little tiny pitter patter golf clap.
It's just good to relax to. It's not really It's not
It's
like
not
a
an
cheering.
Right. It's not like a edge of your seat, like
I mean, look,
shouting at the top of your lungs.
look, I'd save this for the sports sampler, but this is the Masters theme. I mean, like it's.
There's literal birds in it.
Yes.
Is that supposed to be there?
I think they might have added that for a little more flourish.
Okay.
But that, this is the theme song to the Masters.
It's quite lovely, honestly.
Yeah, it's supposed to be relaxing as you look out on Augusta. But yeah, it's a different vibe. It's not Thanksgiving football vibes.
I feel like you have to talk close to the microphone.
Yes. That's you
Very
have to
close, very soft.
Right. It's almost ASMR like.
Yeah, exactly.
He's getting ready to line up the putt.
Can you hear the grass?
It's slowly growing beneath your feet.
Lovely.
Very lovely. So I'm getting ready for.
It's quite peaceful.
Yeah.
I like it. You know what? It perfectly fits like the Easter spring vibe.
Yeah. So you know what? Maybe we can't. I don't know. We'll have to experiment because
football makes sense in the fall because everything's dying. It's harsh.
Yes.
It's a struggle for life, right?
Yes.
But golf, it's like rebirth. It's like
Right.
I don't know.
It's just that.
I don't know. I know zero. I might know negative percentage about golf. No, you've instructed me quite well over the years.
Yes. And you know what? I guess should we just?
Yeah.
You know
Let's
what?
do it. We're digressing enough.
Yeah. We're digressing so much that we're actually coming around to the topics that we're going to talk about anyway. So why not? Let's launch into the sports sampler.
So you're not good at sports. It's a very small part of life. Sports.
In your face. Sports coming at you in your face. And should I just lead off with? I've been hyping this up a little bit.
Let's do it.
So let's officially launch because this weekend is the Masters, and what we like to do is give you kind of just a little preview as to who we think has a shot. What is the expectations going in to this year's tournament? Obviously, it takes place in Augusta, Georgia. It's the Super Bowl of golf.
Right. It's one of the 4 majors, right?
Yes, one of the 4 majors. But everyone is, this is the iconic one. This is the one with the green jacket.
Right.
There's the pageantry. It's got the history. This is the one
It's the pomp and circumstance.
You shed a tear for.
Wow,
you look out on the course and you're just like, oh my gosh,
like a
legends.
Wow.
Yeah, you cut into my action.
I
here.
read your mind there.
Yeah, this is where legends have played. This is
legends are made there, maybe.
Yep, and they will be made there as well. I will say this though, according to Vegas and the bookmakers, there's really just kind of like a little tiered 3-man platform into favorites, but then it gets pretty just out there. This is kind of a broad field going into this Masters.
Okay.
The 2 overall favorites are Scotty Scheffler.
Never heard of him.
Very good.
Am I supposed to?
Yes. And
whoops.
Scotty Scheffler at 7-1. Rory McIlroy at 7-1.
I have heard of him.
Very good. Keep
I
up the
think
good
he's
work.
on video games, right?
He's been in a couple.
Or did they get rid of that?
No, I think 2K Sports took it over now.
Oh, they did.
It used to be EA.
Oh, right.
Which, if only that could happen to Madden, maybe that would be beneficial to everyone.
Yeah, right.
So those are the 2 front runners at 7-1. John Ram, he's always a perennial favorite at 9-1. They're kind of like your 3, podium kind of in the lead right now in terms of the favorites. Because then after this point, it gets pretty evenly squared and broad. Jordan Spieth at 17-1. Patrick Cantlay 18-1. Justin Thomas at 21-1. Tony Finau 24-1. Dustin Johnson 25-1. Xander Schauffele at 25-1. Good old Cameron Smith at 28-1. Colin Morikawa, former Masters champion, 28-1. And I also would like to mention too, if you notice, I read a couple of names that are not PGA Tour names.
Oh,
this is a big deal. Yes, this is
That's right.
This is kind of the first line in the sand as the Live Tour members are now invading the PGA turf.
Is there any? Do you foresee any controversy or issue if a Live Tour member wins?
It would definitely send a strong signal to the PGA that, hey, this Live Tour is not going away.
Yeah, like what?
If
what
they
happens?
actually, well, I mean, probably nothing in terms of, like
The short term, I guess.
yeah, nothing like immediate, but that would be a statement win for this
Yeah.
Live Tour to say, hey, we have the Masters champion.
It'd be really weird for the PGA to, at the end of because the Masters is independent.
Yes.
Right?
That's right. Augusta chooses who they want to play.
But
It's not up to the PGA. It's not up to anybody else.
But in the history of golf, there's only ever been PGA winners.
yes.
So
Just about,
at
yeah.
the end of the thing, they do an interview with PGA members, and it's PGA everywhere. If a Live Tour member wins, all of a sudden the Masters ends, and what does the PGA do? They just sit and twiddle their thumbs because they're not in the spotlight. Like, isn't that odd for them?
It is.
Like, what do? They just okay, shrug their shoulders, pack up their stuff, and go home.
Right.
Like,
and there is like a PGA channel. I
Yeah.
wonder how
do they just
cover
cut
it?
to black?
Yeah.
They just stop
it's-
broadcasting for the
that's
day.
the end of the tournament.
That's the end of
Bye-bye.
Yeah,
So CBS is still going to go on because
Right.
they own the
Right.
rights. But there is a PGA Tour channel. What do they do?
right.
Yeah.
And that's kind of the point that I'm getting at is for decades, the entire golf world, I guess, and I'm guilty of this maybe as just a bystander, but golf and PGA are synonymous. So I never really separated the two.
But now you have
now
to.
you have to because for the longest time it was only PGA, but now there might be a situation in which they're kind of just not part of the conversation or the media coverage.
Yeah.
And they're just there.
If they're not if they don't represent the champion, yeah.
That's weird, right?
What happens to that? I'd be curious to see how do they handle
Like-
how does the PGA channel handle a non-PGA winner at the Masters?
Like, what are the websites and the news channels and they just
the Masters is independent, so they'll be
Right.
fine. CBS will be fine. They'll
but the PGA, this is uncharted territory for them.
right. So it'll be interesting to see how they handle a potential Live Tour win. Because they do have a couple of big names between
Yeah.
Cameron Smith and Dustin Johnson, and
So, what are you hoping for? Are you hoping for a PGA win or a Live Tour win? What would be more salacious?
that's a good word, Mike.
Thank you.
Fantastic, salacious.
At the,
I
at
guess
the
it
end of
would
the
be-
tournament, do you want a PGA winner or a Live Tour winner?
I mean, if you're looking for controversy,
I am.
You want a Live Tour win
because
that would
let's go, baby.
that would be a bullet fired across
Yeah.
the lines.
Yeah.
Hey, you think you can keep us out? Because the next tournament is the PGA Championship in May, and obviously the PGA Championship is not going to let non-PGA
Right.
people in the PGA Championship.
Right.
So they're already,
But
poo-pooing the Live
and
Tour go away.
that would be so weird because then the PGA, again, for decades, they've been the PGA Championship, will the person who just won the Masters win this one? Now they won't be able to say that if a
No.
Live Tour member wins.
Yeah.
You're going to have a championship immediately after the Masters.
a
and
major championship.
Right, and the person who just won the Masters
Is not
may not be
eligible.
part of it.
No, won't be.
Or
If-
won't
if-
be,
If they're
yeah.
a Live Tour member, they are not eligible.
That's super weird.
Yeah. So I guess if you're looking for the more unprecedented news story or the more shocking news story, it would be if one of these Live players wins.
Oh, that's what I'm living for.
Ooh.
Oh.
Are you being paid by
Anyway.
Live right now?
I wish.
Yeah, because they're
They
just
got- they
giving
got-
money.
They got those deep Saudi pockets, man.
Yeah,
right?
they
It's
do.
Saudi Arabia back.
Yeah, they do.
Yeah, give me some of that oil money, please.
Call them up.
Oh, hello, yes. Live Tour.
Live Tour. I will promote you on.
I would like $100
crispy
million,
noodle?
please. Thank you.
Yes, I will set up for just 10, please.
How about just one?
Yeah, give me something.
Yeah.
Give me a free burger.
Right. No, that's really interesting, though.
Yeah, so like you just said, yeah, this is going to be an interesting Masters to follow because of the potential Live Tour victory at this point. And also keep in mind, Augusta has said they are going to review the Live Tour on a year-by-year basis.
Oh.
So they could hold the drama still, even after this tournament, as to whether or not they still let the Live Tour come back.
Could we also see a situation in which all the Live Tour members completely bomb and then the Masters is like, never mind? And just
Well,
like,
that would be really atrocious.
that
Yeah.
would be bad.
Yeah.
I don't think that's going to happen.
I don't think so either because you got some pretty big names up there.
Yeah.
You know, Dustin Johnson and Scotty Cameron and Brooks Koepka.
Yeah.
That, you know, I don't think you're going to see a dud from them. But,
I want to see a winner. I
Yeah.
wanna see it.
It would be interesting to see one of them crowned Masters champion.
Oh, yeah.
How does the PGA handle that going forward? That would be interesting. But nevertheless, it's always just, you know, this is the big one. This is the Super Bowl. Tiger Woods is also coming back. He's going to be playing in this one.
Wow.
I think he's at like 75-1 or something. But it's funny. He's like one of those people that he's played Augusta so many times.
He could
You
sneak
can't,
up.
you can't count him out. Like, even though he's listed at like 70-1, 75-1, I would throw a buck on. Like, he's so familiar with. He won in 2019.
Yeah.
Like,
Hey, look,
he's
you
so
throw
familiar with the course.
You throw $1 or $2 on him, and just it's $1 or $2, but it could end up being $150 if you throw $2 on, right?
Yeah, right. So that's another one. Everyone is, where's Tiger at? Because
Right.
this is one Tiger shows up for.
Right.
So if you're aching for the red polo shirt wearing Tiger Woods, he usually shows up at this one. So that's also another storyline to follow going into this weekend.
Should be interesting. I mean, lots of storylines between Tiger Woods, the Live versus PGA stuff.
Yep.
I mean, Easter weekend. It's happening in the golf world.
Yep. And who will pull out the big win? Because it takes a lot to it takes nerves of steel and
you got to compete across 4 days of.
Yep.
Yeah.
And just going into Saturday and Sunday, man, we've seen golfers they lose it. It
gets to them.
It's not just the physicalness; it's the mental fortitude to
Yeah.
keep going, to play smart, not give up.
I can't imagine
big mistakes.
I can't imagine going out there golfing, a full 18 holes, and then got to do it the next day, and the next day.
Yep.
And
72 holes. You got to go from hole 1 to hole 72.
It's a lot.
And as we've seen in the past, Jordan Spieth, guy like that has had 5-6 stroke lead, and then going into Sunday disappears.
Yeah.
So
he's the one that plays too aggressively sometimes.
Yep.
Right? Yeah.
So I mean, even when you think maybe someone is like the outright winner is starting to pull away going into Sunday, not the case. That's why you still got to watch Masters Sunday. Masters Sunday is one of those days I circle on the calendar. It's right up next to Super Bowl. It's like when I get the calendar, I want Super Bowl circled. I want Masters Sunday circled.
That's right.
And this is why, because it's just you never know what exactly is going to happen. It's legacy. It's the it's the course that legends have been made. It's the tournament that my dad watched. The tournament my grandparent and my grandfather watched. It's got the weight of it. This is the one. If I were to encourage you to get into if you're getting into golf, this is it. This is the one you hunker down for and you watch all day on Sunday. So
it was a very impassioned speech. I like it.
Thank you. I'm trying to get people into golf because it is exciting.
I mean, you know what? You have done the best job of it so far that I've seen, because golf doesn't make it nearly as exciting as you make it sound.
Thank you.
They should hire you as their PR.
Right. Can I just be some sort of ambassador or something? I'll
official golf ambassador.
Yeah, I'll help you out. I still can't play worth a damn, but I'll help you out. Nevertheless, though, that's what I'm looking forward to this upcoming weekend. And with that, I'll finally get off golf. Let's go to something else that is indicative of this time frame. We finished March. We're in the first week of April. That is the time frame to end March Madness as well. We were talking about a crazy Final Four last week, as there was 2 Florida teams in the Final Four, but just like Florida standards, they both lost in the semifinals.
That makes sense. That's very Florida.
One, though, on a heartbreaker buzzer beater by San Diego State. It was literally, he got it in with, he shot it with 1 second left.
Oh.
Went in. They won that game 72-71. I saw that live.
Man.
I saw that live on Saturday night. We were at a bar that night, and everybody just went, "Oh my God!" It's amazing. We didn't even have a dog in the fight, but just watching that, your jaw hit the floor. That he took the chance and he hit it.
That is a heartbreaker. 1 point.
Yep, and it propelled San Diego State to the championship to take on UConn, but they are unfortunately not so much of a contest as UConn just had the pedigree, they had the history, they had the stamina, and took the championship. They are your March Madness winners. Number 4 seed. Who had that pegged as the champion?
You like to see it, though. It's boring when you see a bunch of 1s and 2s up there.
Yeah.
You know, it's nice to see.
That's why it's March Madness.
What was it? A 5 and a 4 seed. That's pretty good.
Yeah, in the championship match.
Yeah.
Yep. For UConn, though, this is their 5th championship win since 1999. Basically, like
they're pretty good.
They're like a dynasty.
Yeah, I mean,
this is one they weren't even supposed to win, and they got a ring out of this one.
What is that? A championship every 5 years, roughly? It's 24 years,
24
wins,
years. Yeah.
That's hey, I'd take that.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's not bad.
No, every 4 or 5 years, you're back in it, threatening to win the whole thing. You know, that's a pretty good program there.
Yeah, UConn knows what they're doing. But there you go, officially wrapping up the March Madness tournament since we're in April. All right.
I always think that's funny. They should sync it up so it ends.
Yeah, on
the
March.
last day of March or something. Like, I don't know.
Right, yeah. But, I don't know, they got to...
This year's been better than some others. Some years it went like into the
second week of April.
Yeah, that's weird.
Yeah, but the problem with the scheduling is they got to wait.
There's just too much.
No, they got to wait till the conference tournaments are over, and those are independently scheduled. So I could get into it if you want to hear me talk about the logistics of March Madness. I can get into it, but I know Mike is aching to get into some football news. That's his bread and butter.
I love football.
We're in the non-playing season, so he is ready to go. And here is our weekly Aaron Rodgers update at this point.
I'm in the dark here.
Yep, nothing from Aaron Rodgers. He's still, as of right now, a Green Bay Packer.
I'm in the dark here.
So we don't know what else to say. Will a deal get done before the draft? I don't know. It's coming up in 3 weeks.
But you know what's crazy is that you thought it was done with the Jets. But I just look it up right now, just Aaron Rodgers, and the news articles I'm seeing are all mentioning the 49ers now making a play for Aaron Rodgers. As if they don't have enough. They've been attached to every single
quarterback. What is happening with the 49ers?
They're still upset over that loss.
Yeah. Like, they've been, like, so shell-shocked from losing 4 quarterbacks in the last season.
They're just going to, like, Pokemon these quarterbacks.
Yeah.
Just catch them all.
Collect all 150 NFL quarterbacks. You can't hurt all of our quarterbacks if we own all the quarterbacks.
Modern problems require modern solutions.
Yeah.
Ridiculous. What do you think? What are the chances here that the 49ers make a play for Rodgers?
I don't know.
Because right now it's a rumor. They've had conversations. They've investigated. But so has every GM in the league.
Yeah.
Right?
I don't get it. I don't think Aaron Rodgers is a fit for the 49ers. I don't get it.
I don't know. I think the 49ers have a good thing going with what they have right now. They need to focus on keeping their quarterbacks healthy.
Yeah.
Maybe go find an offensive lineman or two.
Yeah, someone that would help you protect whoever your quarterback ends up being.
Yeah, because the way that their offense, jives right now is fine. I think like introducing an old, expensive, I guess they're viewing it as like if we get him, we can win now. But
I still don't see
not
it.
necessarily.
And also, what are they going to offer? They don't have any first-round draft picks.
They'd have maybe offer players or tons of future picks. I feel like that's too risky. You're selling your team. You're selling your team down the river to get one guy to maybe win this 1 year.
I don't think that's happening with the 49ers. No.
So you think it's still the Jets?
Yeah.
So why I'm so curious, like why it hasn't been done. And I mean the draft is coming up sometime this month.
Yep.
So they've got to get it done before the draft because then the valuation of everything changes.
Well, if their trade negotiations involve draft picks for this year, then they got to get it done within the next week or two. But if it's for just future draft picks in general, then I guess at that point you could wait till after the draft, and there might be some cap issues too. I bet you there's probably maybe like the Packers don't get as much of a cap hit if they wait till like after June 1st.
Maybe.
There's always something weird when it comes to like post June 1st designations and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But no, I still think the Jets are the most appropriate landing spot here for Aaron Rodgers. I don't see that falling through. The Jets have committed too much to this too. If they don't,
They went out and signed other free agents specifically for Rodgers.
If they don't end up getting Aaron Rodgers, that would
man.
be the most hilarious Jets thing ever.
That's so embarrassing.
I mean, that means they have to run with Zach Wilson. Good luck. And Joe Flacco.
I mean, they did last year, and they almost made the playoffs, but that's not sustainable.
No.
But that's not the only quarterback that we have to give an update on, because Baltimore Ravens quarterback Lamar Jackson is still doing Lamar Jackson things.
Yes.
I don't know, what is this era of like diva it went from diva wide receivers, now wide receivers like the most agreeable players in the league.
Yeah, a lot of them have been very good now.
Like Lamar,
other than like Odell Beckham Jr., because that's another situation.
Like he's like an old guard wide receiver. Like all these new young wide receivers, they're all like relatively
calm.
Calm
Yeah,
and normal. The
that's true.
quarterbacks are out of control.
Yeah.
So Lamar Jackson, what's going on here? Still nothing.
Yeah, still nothing.
I think it's the same as what we said last week. I think he's going to end up sitting.
Well,
I don't see anything. I know you have one team on your radar.
I called it last week, and I'm telling you, I am not going to be surprised if I see the headline, Lamar Jackson traded to New England Patriots. I'm telling you, they would be the perfect fit.
I don't know. He doesn't seem like a Bill Belichick type of quarterback.
Well,
though.
guess what? Maybe Mac Jones isn't a Bill Belichick kind of quarterback right now because rumors are saying that Mac Jones, first off, went to seek, quote, outside help for some of his throwing mechanics and his past decisions, which that already apparently pissed Bill Belichick off because he does not like outside advice. He wants to be Bill Belichick wants to be the man. If you have a problem, you come to him. You come see Daddy Belichick.
Yep.
He doesn't want you to go see another daddy. you go see Daddy Belichick.
No, it was the thing that caused the rift with Tom Brady.
Yeah, Tom Brady. Yeah, he had his own crew, and Belichick didn't like that.
Yeah.
So, that's already a couple strikes now against Mac Jones now in this regard, and he hasn't really lived up to the hype. He was a first-round draft pick.
He's not looked like a first-round draft pick.
So here's what I said. I said it last week. I'm telling you, it wouldn't take a whole lot. Think about it. Bill Belichick really doesn't value draft picks as much as other GMs.
No.
This year, if they do it really fast, the Patriots, I think, have like the 15th. They're in the middle of the pecking order. They only have like the 15th or 16th draft pick. That's like, like it's valuable, but it's not a top 10 pick.
Right.
I definitely could see Belichick parting ways with that and a future first-round draft pick to pay the Ravens, because you have to pay the Ravens first because they signed Jackson on the restricted free agency. You pay the penalty of the 2 first-round picks, and then you have a meeting with Lamar Jackson, and you say, let's have a prove-it deal, 2 years, I don't know what, $70 million guaranteed? I don't know, whatever number he wants to throw. I'm sure he wants a bigger number than that. I don't know.
Right.
2-year, $90 million guaranteed. And that is Bill Belichick's last hurrah. Because he's got to be getting the end of his rope. He's gonna have to make Bill Belichick's gonna have to make a move to do something in that division sooner or later. He cannot go, especially if the Jets end up actually getting Aaron Rodgers, the Patriots are in the basement. I can't imagine Bill Belichick just kind of whimpering with the Patriots into the basement for his last year.
And just being complacent with it.
Yeah.
The thing that
I will not be surprised if in the next week, 2-3 weeks, whatever, we see a headline and it says Lamar Jackson visits New England.
The thing that gives me pause is that Bill Belichick rarely goes for these blockbuster deals. It's not really in the 20-some-odd years that he's been coaching New England. He went out, he got Moss that one time.
Yep.
And he went out and got Cam Newton, which blew up in his face.
Well, the first year it didn't. The first year they were decent.
What are you talking about?
The very first year that he had Cam Newton,
They
had like something like they had something like what was it? They had like 200 rushing yards a game or something. It was something ridiculous.
Yeah.
It was like numbers that had never been seen in modern NFL.
The thing is, though, it's not really his style to make those big, splashy free agency moves. He's very much the type of coach. He's like, build from the draft, build smartly, build slowly, and never really try to have a quote-unquote rebuilding phase. And Lamar Jackson just seems so out of the ordinary for a coach like Bill Belichick.
Well,
Now, it's not out of the possibility.
Well, right now, I think there's three things against that argument. Right now, he doesn't have time.
Yeah.
He's got to be at the end of his career. Either this season or next season is going to be his last. He's getting to the end.
He's getting up there.
Yeah. I think they're going to be desperate. If the Jets actually land Aaron Rodgers, they got to do something. They're going to be desperate, and they don't value their draft picks. They're on that in terms of the spectrum. They're closer to the Rams than they are any other team. Where picks, schmicks, whatever.
So why hasn't it happened yet?
Maybe they're waiting to see.
They're waiting to see how it all shakes out.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Maybe swoop in on draft day.
Yeah.
Look, it's not unheard of. We've had quarterbacks traded on draft day.
Oh man, just something in my gut makes it seem like it's super unlikely because there's also conflicting reports that they're shopping Mac Jones because I know the reports out there that Mac Jones is getting shopped around, but multiple sources had said that other teams are like, this is news to me. The Buccaneers says they haven't been contacted. The Raiders said they haven't been contacted. The teams that are connected with these rumors say we haven't heard anything about Mac Jones being shopped. So I don't know. It seems like it doesn't seem like there's a lot there to me.
I don't know. We'll see because the NFL draft is coming up fast.
Because also, Bill Belichick doesn't like to give that kind of money to the quarterback as well. Like, it just doesn't fit. I mean, you're basing a lot of it on him feeling the pressure to do it in, this potentially his last season or two. But it's so out of the ordinary to go out and get the splashy free agent, give the splashy free agent huge sums of money. Like, I can count on one hand the number of times he's done that in 25 years.
Yep, and I'm telling you, he might be desperate enough. It's time to do it. It's time to pull the red emergency handle.
Maybe. I mean, it would certainly make for live draft coverage.
Right now, we're the Patriots in that division.
I mean, they're dead last. I mean, even if the Jets don't get Rodgers, the Jets were pushing for a playoff spot. The Patriots, by default, are battling for third or fourth.
Yeah. And do you think Bill Belichick's just going to willingly roll over and just play dead this season?
No, but he must have some other crafty option up his sleeve, and I don't think it's Lamar Jackson because Lamar Jackson just... Also, do you really think Bill Belichick and Robert Kraft want to deal with a problem like Lamar Jackson? Because he is not going to settle for anything less than... Because it even came out that Lamar Jackson isn't looking for a fully guaranteed deal. He just wants the fully guaranteed amount to be more than Deshaun Watson's. So, what is his upper figure then? Of the not guaranteed, is it like a $300 million deal? But only 231 is fully guaranteed.
Like, what did
the numbers are out of whack.
What did Deshaun Watson get? 230.
He got 230. So that means that Lamar Jackson doesn't want a 100% guaranteed deal. The guaranteed money just has to be $231 million.
$230 million and $1.
And $1.
There you go.
It's out. And I don't think the Patriots are going to come. I don't think the Patriots are going to come close to that. Even if Belichick wanted him, you got to go through Robert Kraft.
I don't know. We'll see. Well, Robert Kraft, he's friends with Meek Mill. I know who Meek Mill is now because of this damn news story.
I don't know. Well, I guess we will see around the draft. It'll make for exciting draft coverage, if nothing else. Yeah. Maybe the Patriots go up and draft a quarterback. That is Bill Belichick's speed.
Yeah, I don't know. He would
Too
really
competitive?
have to. No, he would have to get. I think he would have to be really excited about a particular prospect, and I don't know. I haven't heard that from any of the camps, but I don't know. That could be another thing. Yeah, he's probably laying a little misdirection, perhaps.
Yeah,
and we've heard the Cardinals are trying to trade out of that number 3 slot. So
yeah,
that could be a misdirection. Yeah, you might be onto something there.
Things are afoot.
That's right. As we get closer to the NFL draft, I think 3 weeks. It's coming up fast.
It's going to be exciting.
Yeah,
I'm ready. We're going to do a live show, right?
Yeah, so we'll be giving you the live NFL draft coverage on that night. But for right now, we're going to wrap up the sports sampler right there. But don't go anywhere because we still got the entertainment entree and the non-fortune cookie odd news coming your way. We'll be right back here on the Crispy Noodle Podcast.
Ready for the weekend? Happy Friday. Hi, my name's Marie, and I'm an artist who's been making Happy Friday doodles every week for over 7 years. And now you can own my art collection in this Volume 1 and Volume 2 art series. These doodles span across multiple themes, yearly festivities, various countries, languages, and more. Both coffee table books have something for everyone and are the perfect conversation starter or gift for a friend. Really, anyone who enjoys a good weekend. Available on Amazon, Ingram, BookBaby, Barnes & Noble, and more. Visit happyfridaydoodles.com/books and get your copies today. Let's celebrate the best day of the week. Happy Friday.
If you go to Taco Bell at 3 in the morning, this is what you're going to get. Yeah,
That clip is already coming into play.
Yes,
I love
already. So there you go.
Stop.
What happened?
The thing went on.
Well, how did that turn on?
I don't know. The fart sound.
The fart sound turned Amazon on?
I think the fart sound turned on my Echo.
What the
I
hell?
don't know. It turned on.
What are you doing, Jeff Bezos? What are you into?
Basically, he's listening to fart sounds.
He's listening to our fart sounds. Oh, my God.
I changed the trigger word to fart. I got to fart at it now. I don't know what happened.
That's really awkward. You're going to have to... Excuse me.
Excuse me. How can I help you?
You may need some bowel.
Do you want me to automatically order you Pepto-Bismol? I don't know why. I don't know why I'm talking to it solely through farts now.
It actually, you fart into it.
Fart once for yes and twice for no.
No. Actually, you fart into the device, and then
Yeah.
Amazon can determine what
you-
medicine you need.
Oh, right. Wow. That's next level right there. Or what you've been eating and what you want to reorder.
Oh.
I detect Cheetos. Would you like to subscribe?
Would you like a bulk order of
Bulk
Cheetos?
order. Ooh, yes, please.
Cheetos ordered.
Cheetos. That story took a turn.
Yeah.
Cheetos ordered.
Okay. All right. There you go. The latest from Jeff Bezos and Amazon.
It's amazing technology, I tell you.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. We're back here on the Crispy Noodle Podcast. We are done the sports sampler. And let's officially go into the second segment of our show where we go over movies, TV, video games, celebrities, kind of all that nonsense and hoopla with the entertainment entree.
And now, the latest in movies.
The Simpson guy writes to movies. Dear Die Hard, you rock. Especially when that guy was on the roof.
Music.
I know what that is. That's music.
Video games.
I'm Commander Shepard, and this is my favorite store on the Citadel.
Celebrities.
You really know Warren Beatty?
Yes, I do. I took a leak next to him once at the Golden Globes.
And more.
You were the all-singing, all-dancing crap of the world.
This is the entertainment entree.
All right. Well, it's also very fitting that we like to use some WWE music and wrestling and music and stuff like that with our show because our first topic kind of blends sports and entertainment. So it's probably the best topic to come out of the sports sampler and enter the entertainment entree with. And that is shocking news out of the world of business.
Business.
The business. And that is the fact that the holding company Endeavor has announced that they plan to buy WWE entirely from Vince McMahon and stockholders, as well as a full majority stock in UFC, and combine them under one umbrella company. This is pretty crazy. So what will happen as the bottom line is that Vince McMahon would remain executive chairman of the WWE, and Dana White will remain president of UFC. But the CEO of Endeavor, Ariel Emanuel, will be the primary owner and therefore the boss of both Vince McMahon and Dana White, and the owner of WWE and UFC going forward. This is unbelievable to hear after all these years of following wrestling and how Vince McMahon was ruthless and gobbling up all the regional wrestling syndicates to create his major empire.
I was gonna say, like, normally they're the ones doing the gobbling, but they got gobbled here.
Yes. And I put in the notes, it feels like this is real life Succession.
It does seem like some kind of weird, like, it just came up out of nowhere, hostile takeover kind of thing.
Well, there had been rumors that Vince McMahon was looking to sell. He's going to be pushing 80 soon.
Oh, wow.
So how old's Logan Roy in Succession? I think he's supposed to be 80.
Yeah, he's supposed to be up there.
So it's interesting, the parallels here. What was supposed to be the final nail in the coffin was Vince McMahon had the sexual allegations being thrown at him. So he left WWE for a little bit.
Right.
Left it in care of Stephanie McMahon, his daughter, and Triple H, to run creative. But now with this move, Vince McMahon effectively he gets like the Logan Roy package. He gets to be back in charge of WWE, but he has to report to Ariel Emanuel and Endeavor, as they are the now owners of the company when this buyout goes through. So it's weird. It is like Succession is happening in real life right before our eyes. It's not Fox News. It's WWE. It's Vince McMahon.
Yeah. So what, I mean, do you anticipate like major changes to either of these sporting organizations? Like, what is this Endeavor group? What does this mean?
So, basically, I think Vince McMahon will be running creative for the foreseeable future.
So nothing will really change there too much.
Probably not in the short term, but I would have to imagine that later on things are going to get interesting as to, because right now, when Vince McMahon stepped aside, Triple H took over creative.
Right.
I wonder how that relationship will bloom out. How will, when Vince McMahon leaves, does Triple H still own creative for WWE? Will he still be the kind of the figurehead for the relation for the talent relations? And Shawn Michaels, I believe, is the head of talent for the developmental territory, NXT. Like, they've kind of had their own family and friends, like they're ingrained in the system.
Right.
And I think for the time being, as long as Vince McMahon still has the creative control and he still has, some say in the matter, I think they're fine. But what's going to happen, I'm sure sooner or later, whether it's through Endeavor or his own accord, he's probably going to be looking to get his way out. He's going to be getting a couple $2 billion in this sale.
Yeah.
What happens when he finally leaves the company? Do guys like Triple H and Shawn Michaels, do they still stay in control, or does Endeavor come along and say, no, we own you now and we don't really have any allegiance to you? So it's going to be interesting behind the scenes who will end up being in control. It's like real life Succession. It is amazing.
Yeah.
It's kind of eerie. There are some parallels here. For UFC though, they already were owned by Endeavor for a little bit, so
it's not too much of a change for them.
They don't really have too much of a change.
Is this UFC's way of kind of? I mean, no, because UFC is pretty popular, so it's not like they're trying to like.
And they are legitimate sports,
right? So they're not trying to like do some weird kind of like takeover of WWE or
They
supplant it because they operate kind of like in separate lanes.
Yes, UFC and WWE have to remain separate because WWE is scripted. They control who wins. It's all planned out.
That's the entertainment sports, and UFC
Right.
is the sports entertainment.
Yeah, UFC is still sports.
Yeah.
So they never the twain shall meet.
Could
They
we see
need
like
to,
well? Could
they
we
need to
see like
stay apart?
cross promotion maybe?
I don't think
Like,
so because they have to.
They can't really.
It's really
you can't take like a wrestler and be like, go do UFC or UFC and be. I mean, I don't know. Maybe.
It would require a lot of training. Like very, there's only a handful of people that have done it. Brock Lesnar and CM Punk. That's all I can think of. Ken Shamrock. That's all I can think of.
I'm just trying to understand. I mean, I guess Endeavor just wants to own the fighting.
They want to be the fighting
juggernaut.
Yes.
They want to do wrestling. They want to do UFC. Wouldn't be surprised if they have some kind of other martial arts thing going on somewhere. Like boxing. Like they just want to corner like the fighting corner.
Correct.
Yeah.
And what I think this is also, another effect will be actually the rival wrestling, wrestling league, All Elite Wrestling (AEW). Now they can kind of angle themselves as the Rebel Alliance. They're kind of like, oh, we're the.
And that was kind
we're not corporate, we're not these corporate guys that are getting bought on Wall Street.
And that's kind of my other question is like, does this kind of open it up a little bit for other competing
I would say
groups to come in? Because WWE was very like Iron Fist, right?
Yes.
The way that you described it, like they would just go and like snuff out competition. But like, do you see Endeavor acting the same way, or does this kind of like open things up a little bit for these other smaller organizations to kind of chew out their, carve out their little niche over there?
Well, yeah, opening up in terms of them being their niche audience, yes. Like AEW is gonna, I bet you they're gonna run forward with like the whole we're not corporate, we're not these we're not these big.
Endeavor might not
billionaires.
might not want to go crush all these little guys immediately because they're like, okay, we have wrestling and UFC and etc. So maybe they won't feel as compelled to, crush them.
Right.
Crush
Yeah.
the competition.
They
want to crush the competition, but they're not going to absorb them like WWE would.
No, they're going to be satisfied with just owning WWE and UFC. They'll be fine with that. So it is crazy. It does feel like there's a real life succession story happening here.
It's interesting stuff, man.
I would like to bring up one more fact about this story, and I don't know how else to say it, but Vince McMahon has grown a mustache.
Okay.
And
sure.
I don't know who told him this is fine. I don't know. But if you're on the video podcast, take a look here. It doesn't suit him at all.
No.
What is happening? He was at the business announcement of this, and that's what he looked like. Who told him he looks fine?
He looks like he's like a slimy, sleazy, like 1940s, like, frankly, my dear, I don't give a damn.
Yeah, Clark Gable.
Like, doesn't, a little bit.
Yeah.
It's like for non-video viewers, it's like, what is that? Like a pencil
It looks
mustache?
like a penciled mustache, yeah.
Yeah. It's just very tight, close to the lip, very pencil thin mustache. Like, it just does not. I don't know. He like looks like a villain type. I don't know.
I'm a Wario. I'm gonna win.
That's what it reminded me of. It reminded me a little bit of Wario.
Okay. Yeah.
Was that a good comparison?
Yes.
So, I
you
don't
know what's
know.
funny? You start typing his name, and that's one of the search results is Vince McMahon mustache.
Yeah.
You just type Vince M, and it's like Vince McMahon mustache. Wow.
It doesn't look good on him. I don't know who told him. Yeah, you can pull it off. That's the ultimate sign here. You have yes men.
Yeah, they're like, oh, yeah, that looks great.
Everybody around you is telling you, oh, yeah, it looks great, Vince. Oh, yeah. No.
Oh, it looks awful.
Yeah, it's horrible. It doesn't fit him. It reminds me of that episode in Seinfeld where they all grow mustaches and they're just like miserable.
Look at that. Somebody posted a GIF of Frankly, My Dear, I Don't Give a Damn. Like, that's literally like he's like giving that like 1930s, 40s.
Yeah.
No, it's awful.
Yeah, it's awful. So please.
I'm just scrolling through all the different like Twitter posts that people made about it.
Yeah, please just, I don't know, someone talk some sense into him. That doesn't look good. All right.
Bad stuff, the mustache.
So there you go. That is the sports entertainment news. we have sports and entertainment, but sometimes they do mix together, and we kick off the show. We kick off the entertainment entree with that. Now let's get to the regular programming that we usually have here, and it's the segment where Mike is going to let you know what you should keep an eye out for this upcoming weekend with TV and movies and video games and stuff like that in Mike's This Week in Entertainment. All right, Mikey, what do you got for the peoples?
All right, well, this week in entertainment in theaters, the big movie this week is Super Mario Bros. Movie coming to theaters.
Appropriate.
Yeah.
Appropriate. I mentioned Wario.
That is the title, the Super Mario Bros. Movie. It's awkward to me.
Why did it have to call itself a movie?
Yeah, it's like the Super Mario Bros. Movie.
Well, because there was Super Mario Brothers, and that was a movie.
I hate everything. So, right, I mean, that's a good point. This movie is the Nintendo Plumbers' first movie since '93's live-action disaster.
Yeah.
So I guess they want to differentiate themselves by adding an article and adding the word movie at the end. Creative. Well, they couldn't call it, like, Mario and the Mushroom Kingdom, or, like, Mario Saves the Day, or, like, literally anything. Or just Mario.
Celebrities get paid to do Mario stuff.
That title would, at least it would have been honest.
Yeah, that was honest.
Because really, I mean, if you're remotely familiar with Mario, it's he goes and he fights Bowser. There's no story.
That's pretty much it.
There's no story. There's
Save
mushrooms.
the princess.
Saves the princess, yeah. The real selling points, of course, is the fact that it's a Nintendo property, and the cast is absolutely insane. I mean, Chris Pratt, Anna Taylor-Joy, Charlie Day, Jack Black, Keegan-Michael Key, Seth Rogen. It just goes on and on and on. It really is what you said. Actors getting paid to play Mario characters. Like, it's a payday. The reviews reflect that. It is painfully average. It's like a 55 on Rotten Tomatoes. Average review score is a 5.3 out of 10. But I guess it's not the worst video game movie ever, so if you have kids, if they like Mario properties, go check it out. Could be an enjoyable time. The critics say, it's not thrilling, but it's not terrible. What is the line from Chernobyl? Not great, not terrible?
Not great, not terrible, yeah.
There you go. Super Mario Bros. Movie. Not great, not terrible. Speaking of explosions, though, if you're looking for something a bit more serious and timely, How to Blow Up a Pipeline also hits theaters this week. Here's the synopsis. A crew of young environmental activists execute a daring mission to sabotage an oil pipeline in a timely thriller that is part high-stakes heist, part radical exploration of the climate crisis. But you know what? It sounds a little ridiculous, but it's got 100% on Rotten Tomatoes. Average score of 8 out of 10.
Wow.
Could be pretty interesting. It's, they mentioned high-stakes heist. They're people trying to blow up a pipeline. It seems like it could be kind of interesting. If you're not into Mario, go check out How to Blow Up a Pipeline. In television, we have a dark comedy, Beef, coming to Netflix this week.
Beef.
I saw the title. I'm like, I got to talk about it. Beef. It's just beef. It's not what you think. It's not about beef.
It's what's for dinner.
It's what's for dinner. That's right. It's actually about two strangers who get into a road rage incident that brings chaos into their lives. Critics are enjoying it so far. It has 100% on Rotten Tomatoes with an average rating of 8.3 out of 10. So go check out that dark comedy. Looks pretty interesting.
We have an exclusive sound clip.
Oh.
Yeah, there we
Okay.
go. That's the exclusive sound clip.
That's the of beef.
That's chaos.
That's the chaos. Also in TV, we have a comedy miniseries, Tiny Beautiful Things, coming to Hulu this week. The show is about a woman who reluctantly becomes an advice columnist while her own life is falling apart. It's loosely based on real events, since it's based on a book of the same name, which is a collection of the real-life advice columnists' written work and all the advice columns that she wrote. The series is kind of based on that columnist's life. So go check it out. It's Tiny Beautiful Things. It's pretty popular with reviewers so far. So, 100% on Rotten Tomatoes, 9 out of 10 average rating. So a lot of very highly reviewed shows and movies coming out this week. And in video games, a new month equals new free games for PlayStation Plus and Xbox Live Gold subscribers. So go download your free games. And that's what we're looking forward to this week in entertainment.
All right. Speaking of video games, this headline made its way through all the news programs, but it's really not a surprise. I feel like it's not. I mean, it might. I guess it's shocking in of its own bit, but I think it's not surprising.
No.
And that is the fact that E3 has been canceled yet again. We've talked about the history of E3 before on the show. It's just, sadly, it's just kind of gone to the wayside because now the video game manufacturers, they have their own conferences.
Yeah.
You know?
It's so weird to think about, but 2019 was the last live in-person E3 event, and every big console developer and manufacturer gets up there and they give their presentation of all the cool new games to look forward to. There's a whole lot of pomp and circumstance. There's special guests. There's live orchestras. And ever since then, in 2020 was canceled because of the pandemic. There was a digital version in 2021. A live event was planned for 2022, but that was canceled. And now the live event in 2023 was canceled again. And in those, 4 years, we've seen the rise of Nintendo Direct. We've seen the rise of PlayStation showcases. Xbox is going to do something. EA, Ubisoft, they're all going to do their own little conferences because they realized, why put on a production when we can just throw together like 7 or 8 trailers in a half-hour video?
Yeah, and own it.
And own it fully front. You can own, the hype leading up to it, how you send it out to your audience, how you can, bring in and work with the developers. And part of me is like, yeah, that makes perfect sense. I love that we get more showcases throughout the year. Like, I know PlayStation does a handful, Nintendo does a handful throughout the year. But part of me does miss that feel of like the Super Bowl for video games.
Yeah.
Right? Where like you log into any of your favorite video game publication website that week and it was like, crazy reveal, gameplay trailer, teaser. It was just like one after the other, just like big announcements. And now you kind of get like a little drip feed throughout the year. And I feel like, I don't know whether I'm old or whether there's just not as many games I'm looking forward to, but I feel like the excitement and the hype isn't there like it's been in years past. Like, how do you feel?
Yeah, I can see that argument and how you feel on that, but I don't know. I do kind of feel like E3 that's kind of a relic at this point. Like,
it was aging when it ended.
Yeah, it was kind of on the downslope even before COVID was hitting.
Yeah.
You kind of saw the writing on the wall.
Right. It's like, hey, there's this new digital landscape, but we're all going to get together in a room and like stand on stage for an industry that's entirely digital.
Yeah.
Like it didn't match the core values of where video games were going.
Yeah.
If you know what I mean.
Right. And yeah, it's kind of shocking in terms of like how, E3 used to be. Yeah, like you said, it used to be the Super Bowl of video game announcements.
I mean, we used to cover it on the show.
Yeah. But honestly, the way it's progressed in, the last, 6-7 years, I'm not surprised by it.
Yeah, not surprised at all. A little saddened, but not surprised. But, the ESA, now I can't find the full name of them. I used to have it. Oh, the Entertainment Software Association. They say they're going to keep working on it. They're going to try and revitalize it and work closely with, developers and things to try and bring it back. That's what they said last year.
So here's kind of the quandary with that is like if you're on the lower level of like video game developing, if you're an indie developer, chances are you're going to go to like kind of the lower tier conventions, like a Too Many Games.
Too Many Games. There's PAX East.
Yeah.
And also I think one of the other podcast shows that I follow, Kind of Funny, they do like a Kind of Funny like indies game showcase. Like there's so many small showcases and events like the Video Game Awards, so many different ways to get your stuff out there.
Yeah, you're going to target those conventions.
Right.
on the flip side, if you're a big, if you're a AAA developer, you're going straight to the one of the three major shows hosted by Sony, Microsoft, or Nintendo.
Right.
So like E3 is stuck kind of in this middle ground where they don't really have a middle target base anymore.
Yeah. It's super weird because E3 started as a trade event. Like, it was never about the fans and the announcements. And then it slowly became that in the, I think somewhere in the mid-2000s. And then it became something else. It became like a spectacle. And then it stopped being as effective because these big developers started doing their own thing. And it just has failed to keep up with the times, or, I don't know, do they go back to being strictly a trade event where you only bring in industry insiders? And
maybe they have to be. Maybe they have to be
kind of
more
like a game developers conference, because that still gets a lot of press. People still go in person to that.
Yeah, they might have to refocus.
Yeah. So I don't know what the answer is, but I'm just going to say it for all intents and purposes. I don't think E3 is ever coming back like it was.
No, not like what it was.
I think it's done in that capacity. They got to completely revitalize it, and maybe even just stop the fan-facing portion of it and just focus on like the industry insiders and give people a trade show, for developers and publishers, because clearly this ain't working.
No.
So, yeah, I don't know.
Not
surprising.
Not a surprise, but still a shocking headline.
Yeah. Especially since it was like only 2 months away.
Yeah.
And they canceled. Crazy.
Yep. All right. And to close out the entertainment entree, we've got some trailer talk we're going to talk about. Some interesting trailers came out in the past week. The one that I think got the most eyeballs was Secret Invasion. This is supposed to be the next TV show in the Marvel Cinematic Universe.
Yeah.
Coming out on Disney Plus.
Watched it twice.
Mm-hmm.
Once just before the show. I gotta tell you, I'm interested. I am interested. I'm excited to see what it's all about. Excited to see this grand conspiracy in the MCU. But at the same time, I'm left with the same lingering question of why does this matter?
Yeah.
Because I was thinking about this, like, literally maybe like half an hour ago. Like, there's been so many threads that have been opened up in Phase 4. You have the multiverse. You have the Celestials. You have weird Egyptian gods as part of Moon Knight.
Yeah.
You have a secret Skrull invasion and Secret Invasion. You have the old Avengers and the new Avengers. How... And I know they're just going to say multiverse and it's all going to come together. But how?
Yeah.
Like, do you get what I'm saying? Like, I feel like they started too many threads and they didn't really have a clear vision. And now they got to figure out a way, like, oh, well, the Celestials made the multiverse, and then all the Kangs broke the multiverse. And then the multiverse, one of the multiverses has Egyptian gods, and in the other multiverse, there's a Skrull invasion, and they're trying to fix the multiverse. And it's gonna be stupid.
Yeah.
And like, I wonder if Secret Invasion has any kind of like keystone.
Yeah.
That brings it together, but it won't, though, right?
It looks like it won't.
The trailer was very nondescript.
Yeah, I was kind of underwhelmed at this trailer.
Me too.
I was disappointed. I mean, I don't know. I don't know. How exactly the show will work, but I thought there would have been more to it.
Let me ask you a question. Controversial opinion.
Yes.
Samuel L. Jackson. I'm not interested at all. That wasn't a question, more of a statement. But I watched this. Like, do I want to watch an old Samuel L. Jackson brood and do old man espionage for like 8-9 episodes? Are you interested in a world of gods and superheroes and elemental beings?
Yeah.
You're gonna watch an old one-eyed fart fumble around after being in space for like years?
Well, I like Ben Mendelsohn though. I like him as the Krill guy.
Yeah. Skrull.
Thank you.
Krill are what whales eat.
Yeah.
I'm just busting your chops.
Thank you. I'm not Mr. Marvel over there.
No,
Sorry.
I am. But no, I do like Ben Mendelsohn. I'm excited to see him. I am excited to see the conspiracy plot line. It could be interesting. I really just don't want them to be like, hey, remember everything that happened that you thought was weird? Skrulls. Because that's what it's going to be.
Yep.
You're going to be like, all the weird stuff, Skrulls. I'm like, okay.
And multiverse.
Right. At the end of the show, they're like, Skrulls and multiverse. So I will watch it because I'm a masochist.
Yes.
But
well, here's one I know you're going to be excited about. Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse trailer came out for this one.
That's how you do the multiverse right.
Yep, there you go.
No, seriously, go watch Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse, then watch the trailer for Across the Spider-Verse. The first movie, I don't have enough good things to say about it. There's very little I can say negatively about it. Super creative. The art was amazing. The sound, the way that they brought in so many different obscure Spider-Man, like, what was it, Pig Spider-Man, Spider-Ham, the Noir Spider-Man, and there's going to be even more in this movie. If you watch the trailer, they bring in pretty much every iteration of Spider-Man you can imagine. But the thing that the first movie did so well was it really focused on the emotional journey of Miles Morales and coming to terms with being Spider-Man. It was a fantastic origin story, but different because in pop culture we haven't seen the Miles Morales story a lot. It's different from the Peter Parker story. It is. It really is. So anybody that thinks it's just Spider-Man, again, it does have a unique twist to it. And I'm really excited to see how it continues to evolve on that and feature villains and characters you don't get to see often. Like the villain is the Spot, which is a super deep-cut D-list villain. And I'm excited to see it because, I mean, how many times have we seen the Green Goblin and Doc Ock? And I love those characters. But I think it offers a lot of opportunity for creativity and for doing something completely new that we haven't seen. So I'm super excited for Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse, like complete opposite end of the spectrum from Secret Invasion. So,
all right, so
super
there you
excited
go.
for that.
Spider-Man Authority over there, Mike Costanzo giving you the laydown.
Seal of approval. I'm also very excited for Elemental from Pixar.
Yeah.
I know that Pixar isn't your cup of tea, but Elemental has a really, I think, cool, unique, vibrant world of it's all these little anthropomorphized elemental beings. There's the fire people. There's the water people. Imagine Avatar, but like actual people made of fire instead of just bending the fire. It's Romeo and Juliet, right?
Yeah,
fire and water. The two meet. It's like they have a meet cute, and they're like, oh, we can't be together because I don't know.
Fire and water.
Fire and water don't mix. And there are some cute, funny scenes in the trailer. What I'm excited about is like exploring that really creative, vibrant world. Pixar does that so well. I mean, time and again, they take toys and bring them to life and bugs and bring them to life. They imagine what it's like inside your brain, in Inside Out. They do those like really abstract, creative worlds so well. And I'm ready for a brand new Pixar film that's not a sequel or yeah. I mean,
that's a good. That is a good spot. Yeah, this is not.
It's not a Toy
sequel.
Story 5, which they announced a Toy Story 5. I don't.
Yeah.
How many times you got to have a perfect ending?
Yeah.
I don't know.
All right, and finally, the Barbie trailer came out.
Yeah, I know you're really looking forward to this one.
Oh boy,
huge fan.
Oh boy, you're really tickling all my senses here.
I had to put this in because I saw I wasn't going to talk about it, but I saw like a headline, the Barbie trailer. I'm like, at first I was like, Barbie. I was like, there's a movie about like the doll.
Yep. Yes, there
is.
And
the trailer is even weirder than I thought. And I don't even know how to explain it. Like, it's a real life version. It's like if the dolls were in real life.
So first off, there's Barbie Land in this movie.
Right.
And in this land, all the girls are Barbie,
right.
and all the men are
Ken, like different versions of Ken, Barbie and Ken. And like the trailer's like, hi, Barbie, hi. And there's like a Barbie for, like, because she has all the professions. She's a zookeeper and a lawyer and a doctor and a mechanic. And so all the Barbies are there.
Yeah.
Right? And all the Kens are there. And it's funny. The trailer's actually fun.
That's how Barbie Land has to survive.
Yeah. But then, do you see in the trailer there was a sign that said going to the real world?
Yes. So then they go to real world.
So I don't understand, like, are they toys or are they not toys?
I don't think they're toys. I think they're living in a world, and they're escaping the Barbie Land world, and they're in the real world. Dear God.
What did you just say?
I know. I hate even trying to explain this. But yes.
So you think they're real people?
I think they're real people.
Is this like a fantasy world? Is this like magical realism?
Maybe.
Like, because
the premise is that this land is now intermingling with the real world.
But also Will Ferrell's in the movie as like a Mattel executive.
Yeah.
Who creates Barbie. So is this like a metafictional magical realism?
Maybe.
Like, is this all happening in his head? And he's like, I'm going to make a toy line out of I really don't understand what's happening. All I know is 1, it's super weird. 2, it didn't need to be made. But 3, curiously, parts of the trailer were pretty funny, though. The beat you off.
Uh-huh. Oh, yeah.
Come on, that was funny.
What a pun.
That was funny.
Yeah.
Oh, come on. Give credit where credit's due.
Whatever.
You're so perturbed.
Yeah. Let me just watch the Masters in peace.
And after the Masters, we're gonna get tickets to the Barbie movie.
I've officially hit old man status. I would rather watch the Masters than any movie trailer that has come out.
You're not curious though about the makeup of that movie audience?
No, I'm actually worried. I'm worried about
like,
the makeup
who do you
of this
think are the
audience.
people going to see that movie?
I don't know.
We should go see it.
All right, that makes one of us. So, you know what? On that note, I think we need to officially end the entertainment entree, and let's move into our final segment of the show. Folks, it's time for the non-fortune cookie odd news.
We've been talking about cool and its ramifications and how it applies to the hip scene. But maybe you could give us some examples now of the opposite of cool, uncool. Just exactly what is uncool?
My nipples look like milk duds.
Holy shnikes.
It's time for the non-fortune cookie odd news.
It's not of this world. I don't know exactly what it is or what it's doing, but this is not human intelligence, okay? It's not human intelligence we're facing!
How you doing? Me? I'm doing great.
Manda de basata. I don't make this stuff up.
I'll take a pound of nuts.
That's a lot of nuts! That'll be $4, baby! You want fries with that?
I seen the celery dance across the baseball fields.
You had me at Meat Tornado.
No, go past this part. In fact, never play this again.
Okay. What does that mean?
And now it's time for the non-fortune cookie odd news.
So sit back, get everything you need to get from the kitchen. Be sure and empty the bladders, go to the bathroom, because you're in for a hell of a ride.
Woo, odd news.
That's right, everyone. It's time for the non-fortune cookie odd news. Here in this segment, Rich researches the news, he reads the news, and I react to the news. He finds a weird, wacky story and keeps it hidden from us, or from me, and from you.
Well, it is from them too.
From them too, yeah.
You are factually correct.
Yes, always. Which ensures my genuine gut reactions to hearing these stories for the very first time. I don't know what's about to happen. You guys don't know what's about to happen. And even Rich doesn't know what's about to happen because these stories always take us down wacky and wild paths.
You've been watching that Barbie trailer too much.
It's infected my brain.
You've been repeating that Barbie trailer, and you're like trying to figure it out.
Let's go party.
Do they not have that in the movie?
I feel like they need to.
That has to be in the movie.
It needs to be in the movie.
If you have a song about Barbie, it needs to be in
It has to be in the movie.
Anyway. So, let's get to...
Barbie aside, where are we heading to in the odd news?
Right, we got to get to the odd news here, and we're going to give a special sausage shout-out here to listener Richard. Sausage! Also a very good name, very appropriate.
It's a good name.
Yep. Sausage! This is a little bit of an old story. It's actually from 2016, but he wants us to talk about it, and it is, I will say, this is pretty unique. This is a good find.
Wow, yeah, this is what is this? An old...
It's an oldie, but I guess it must have just didn't go through my feed or something.
Yeah, interesting. Okay, so we're getting in the time machine, going back in time.
Yep, pre-COVID, 2016. And of course, though, it is Florida, though. That never changes.
Now, who is this guy in Florida?
It's Florida, and they're crazy.
Yes.
There are constants and variables. There's always a man, and there's always a lighthouse.
There's always a Florida.
There's always a Florida. BioShock Infinite, go play it.
Yes. There is always a Florida. All right, so this news story did happen in 2016.
Okay.
We're going to follow the case of... There's so many Richards happening. I'm kind of worried. The main Florida man, his name is Richard Addy.
I'm concerned now, too.
Are you him? Did you just send... Did you send us your own odd news story?
Wait, is that allowed? Is that self-promotion? Like, I don't know. How does that work?
I just realized that.
So Richard sent Richard a story about Richard.
Yeah, this is weird. This is a weird...
Richception.
Yeah, Richardception, yeah. I don't
know.
I don't know if I like this.
I'm a little suspicious now. Okay,
yeah, it's a little worrisome.
Let's hear him out. What happened here?
But nevertheless, we're following the case of 69-year-old Richard Addy and his wife, 50-year-old Elizabeth Addy.
I like to kick, stretch, and kick. I'm 50. 50 years old.
Wait, how old did you say he was? The Richard guy?
69.
And his wife was 50?
Yes.
Wow, a 19-year age gap.
Yep. So there you go. That's the couple here that we're going to follow. This Florida couple here.
Okay.
According to investigators, Richard and Elizabeth got into an argument after they consumed several drinks over the course of a night on a Tuesday night. So wow, going drinking on a Tuesday.
Hey,
woo!
They're doing that on Tuesday. What are we doing wrong? We're just doing this.
Yeah, we're just doing the podcast on Tuesday.
Maybe we're doing Tuesday nights wrong.
Yeah, if we were in Florida, we would be drinking during the podcast.
That's right. Absolutely.
That's how this would work. So they got into this argument here. They went back to their car, a 2011 Toyota Sequoia.
That's weirdly specific, but okay. These stories are always like they did something somewhere somehow, but this one's like a 2011 Toyota Sequoia, dark blue, had one hubcap missing.
Well, he was very angry and just hopped right into the Toyota Sequoia and started driving.
Okay.
And
he's drunk, though, I assume.
Yes. And he drove a full 6 miles before he realized that his wife was actually hanging on the roof of the vehicle the entire time.
How did she get up there? And how did he not notice? So he's getting in the car and she's just like climbing up the back, like.
Yeah, I guess she's so upset.
Why didn't she get in the car with him?
I guess I don't know. Was she gonna like sneak attack him? Like, I've had enough of you. I'm gonna jump on you.
So wait, they were arguing. I'm just trying to understand. They were arguing.
First, they were drinking.
First they were drinking.
First, they were drinking at the bar.
Then they were arguing.
Then they're arguing and walking back to their car.
So they're both walking back to the car at the same time.
Yes.
And he gets in.
He's so frustrated, he just hops right in.
And what?
I don't know. I guess she was going to try and sneak attack him from the top rope. I don't know. Getting back to wrestling. I don't know. Maybe he's gonna...
But they were already together. I don't understand. So she just, instead of getting in the car, she jumps on top of it.
Yes.
And he somehow doesn't notice this at all.
Right. At least not initially. It took him 6 miles until the wife started banging on the roof.
She started banging on it after 6 miles?
Well...
Okay. It's been 5.9, 6 miles. Okay, now. What was she doing for the other 5.9 miles?
Like maybe just in pure shock. Like she didn't
for 6 miles?
I don't know. Maybe she thought for sure he would realize, like, hey, there's nobody sitting next to you in the passenger seat. Hey, didn't I bring somebody with me to this bar?
I was with you. I was with someone.
Who was I talking to? I was in an argument with somebody earlier tonight.
I remember having drinks with someone and arguing with them. We left the bar together, and then they just vanished.
Oh, now you fucked up. You have fucked up now.
So, yeah.
Wow. 6 miles is quite the distance.
Yes. So at this point, he got out of the car and started yelling at the wife, "Why are you on the car?"
That's a good question.
Yes. Then so apparently at this point, cops finally arrived. Maybe at that point, like during this whole drive, people were calling the cops or something. Like, "Hey, there's a woman on a car driving down the main boulevard." Like,
oh man,
like someone help her. So cops finally showed up. At one point, Richard tried to blame this on the fact that he didn't have a cell phone.
What does that have to do with anything?
I don't know.
Like, maybe his logic is, well, if I had a cell phone, she could have called it.
On top of the car. I'm going to have one hand on the car. I'm going to have...
So then, he's not just driving intoxicated with someone on his car, but he's also talking on the phone while driving intoxicated. I feel like that's like, it makes it worse.
Actually, wait a minute. Doesn't this show I'm a responsible driver because I was not holding the cell phone?
That's right. He's like, officer, I could have been texting while driving,
I could have been texting my wife who's on the top of the car.
She's on the roof. Help me. On roof of car. Frowny face emoji.
And that's a good thing that I did, which should cancel out the bad thing of drinking.
Everybody knows that it's like offsetting penalties.
Right, it should be offsetting penalties, yes.
If you do something bad, you just do something good, and you're good to go.
Yes, so I did not have a cell phone. So
he should go free.
I should be free. There
That's
you
right.
go. What an argument.
That makes sense to me.
Yes. So unfortunately, they didn't see that as well. The eyewitness cop was Officer Christopher Rudiger.
Oh, okay.
That doesn't, you know how sometimes you just hear a name and you're like, oh, he sounds like a hard ass.
Yeah.
Christopher Rudiger.
Rudiger.
Yeah, that sounds like a hard ass. I don't know. He might be a nice guy, but I don't.
Just probably the friendliest person in the world. He's like the only good person in that entire godforsaken town.
Maybe. He stopped the car at an intersection.
Okay.
And was able to help Elizabeth get down from the car. She was yelling the entire time. Obviously.
I mean,
that would make sense. Yep.
Holding on for dear life for 6 miles.
Then he had to break up another fight that was happening because Elizabeth was screaming and clawing at Richard, saying, "You MFer, I was banging on the roof the entire time."
Oh, so she was.
Kill you, motherfucker, old style.
Here, I thought she was waiting until the 6th mile, but she was doing it from start to finish. Okay.
No, I'm gonna fucking kill you, motherfucker, old style.
So, there you go.
What a bozo.
Yep. Rudiger noted that there was strong odors of alcohol coming from both Richard and Elizabeth Addy. So I think he was able to put everything together here. And as a result of this being, kind of a blast from the past odd news story here, I was able to find not just the mugshot, but also the police report.
Oh.
And you can actually see the notes that specifically says, wife riding on roof for several miles, reckless driving.
Wife riding on roof?
It's actually listed in the police report.
It really makes you appreciate, like, sometimes the job of a police officer just defies explanation. It's like, what did you do today? Well, let me tell you about this guy I pulled over. The wife was riding on the roof.
Yeah.
You got to write that stuff down.
Yeah, that has to be in the police report.
I love it.
So it is legit. He'll have that for his file. And the charges that Richard Addy faces, he had to face charges for reckless driving, and there is a specific charge permitting a passenger to ride on the exterior of a moving vehicle.
Wow. Did he permit it? I feel like it's kind of like dicey language. Did he permit it? He didn't know. I would argue if I were him, be like, hey.
I didn't authorize this.
Right. I didn't say that was okay. I did not give consent.
I didn't have my cell phone. I did not sign consent.
Right, exactly. So
there was no electronic consent.
The reckless driving, fine, I'll fess up to that. But the roof thing, I had no knowledge of this.
Yes. Even though she claimed she was pounding on the roof the entire
I just
time.
want to know how she got up on the roof without him noticing. Like, you get into your car and you just hear somebody, like, thumping as they're trying to climb up the vehicle.
The engine's running a little shoddy tonight.
Yeah, right? What was that loud thump? You just see, like, 2 knees banging against the window as she's, like, trying to climb up. How big is a Toyota Sequoia? That's a minivan, right?
The Johnson rod's acting up tonight.
Oh, yeah, they're huge. They're massive. There's no way. There's no way he didn't notice her, like, scrambling up the side of this. It's a big vehicle, man.
Well, he claims he didn't hear her the entire time. So
I guess. I don't know.
So there you go. That's what I have for you from, excuse me, from listener Richard.
Yeah.
He
Blast from the past.
This really did feel like a weird Richardception, because it's listener Richard sending us an odd news story about a guy named Richard. And I'm reading it.
Richard sent a story to Richard about a story, or a story about Richard sent it to Richard about Richard. It's weird.
Yeah.
And then
it's
Richard's
tough.
going to listen to this. Richard is going to comment on the story that he sent to Richard about Richard.
Yes. Time is a flat circle at this point.
Exactly. What if you're all the same person?
Oh my God. This is actually what I do when I sleep. Is this Fight Club now?
Right, exactly. That's your multiple personalities. Your 69-year-old Richard in Florida. You look great for your age.
Thank you. I appreciate that. But sausage shout out there to listener Richard. Sausage! And there you go. What a story to wrap up this episode of the Crispy Noodle Podcast. Thank you guys for joining in and going along for the ride on another crazy episode. If you like what you heard, make sure, first off, that you're following us on all of our social media pages, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. Search for the Crispy Noodle or the Crispy Noodle Podcast and you'll find us. But most importantly, make sure you have a way to get every episode sent to you every Wednesday night, whether that is through YouTube, where you just go to our YouTube page and hit subscribe, whether it's through Facebook Watch. You can watch us do the podcast straight through Facebook, or on Spotify, where we have the video podcast sent to Spotify. You can watch us there, or you can listen to us as an audio-only podcast by putting Spotify in the background. And you can take us on the go by using Spotify with Android Auto and Apple CarPlay.
That's right. So many ways to check out the Crispy Noodle Podcast. But if you need to get in touch with us individually to share your sports, entertainment, or odd news stories, just like Richard did by sending a story to Richard.
Yeah.
You can find us individually on Twitter. I'm at Mikey Costanzo, MikeyCostanzo.
And I am at Rich Liebig, RichLiebig. Send us topics you want us to discuss on future episodes of the podcast. Any odd news should go to me, so Mikey doesn't get the surprise spoiled for him.
My eyes must remain pure.
That's right.
To the odd news.
And let us know what topics or odd news stories you want us to cover. I mean, look, if it's interesting enough, I'll go back into the archives. We'll hit up something from the past.
That was fun going into the time machine. We'll do it again.
Yeah, we will. We'll do anything as long as it is interesting and funny, and we'll get a reaction from Mikey.
That's right.
Or that will break the space-time continuum.
Either or.
Yeah, Or lets us discover that I go to Florida every night when I go to sleep.
That too.
That could be the case.
So 3 general categories.
Right. It's okay. You can. It's a very easy category system.
Yeah.
Yeah. You'll figure it out. But for right now, we got to end this episode, folks. This has been the Crispy Noodle Podcast. Let us be the Crispy Noodle in your vegetarian salad of life and boring news. That will do it. We'll see you guys next week.
See you guys
later. Bye-bye, all you fine peoples. Good night.
Some of us have great stories, pretty stories that take place at lakes with boats and friends and noodle salad. A lot of people, that's their story. Good times, noodle salad.